online?
We are online.
Great.
Hello, good morning. So happy to see you all here, both on site and then behind the camera. Today, we have our amazing Tom Kuivalahti, the founder of Kustobar, the other founder, but let's make the founder. And he will reveal the secrets of how to monetize customer data and all its secrets, among other things. Thank you so much. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Presentation, after presentation, questions, and waffles behind that. There. Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks. Short, like mandatory company slide. So what's interesting, we founded the company exactly more or less 10 years ago. And I'll actually tell the story how it all started. But now we are headquartered here in Wonderland, Vallila, for many years already. So we were one of the first companies staying here, and we've been here for many years. Yeah, we have customers. We think we are like market leader in this our business in Finland, but we have also customers. About 1/3 of our revenue is outside Finland, some Nordics, Baltics, Central Europe region, and about 4 or 5.5 million revenue this year. And for many years we call it cash flow positive, meaning that we are kind of haven't been needing any extra money, because all the money that we have been gaining, we basically spent back to the growth. So we are trying to grow the company as good as we can. But what we do, our mission is to utilize customer data, to collect the customer data and utilize brands, companies, B2C companies to utilize the customer data to the fullest. We definitely focus on B2C, consumer businesses, not so much B2B companies. So the HubSpot is a good tool, for example, for B2B, but our focus is B2C. Here are some of our customers. So they are typically mid-size, large consumer businesses. Maybe 60%, 65% of them are from retail and e-commerce, and then rest from restaurants and other type of consumer services, like even gym chains and barber chains and many different types of companies. Also, one common denominator for many of them is that they are so-called omni-channel retailers. So they sell both online but also physical stores. So we are combining that data from these sources. But how it all started, it's actually all comes down to this company, Record Store X. It's really funny because people might think that nobody buys any more records, but this is a company that has been all these years, like, I don't know, 20, 25 years, they've been growing and being kind of profitable, where their market has declined like 80% at some point. So it's amazing kind of story how they have been able to grow. And one important factor in their growth has been the ability to utilize the customer data. So Kustobar was actually originally built, this was our first customer, and how it all started, my co-founder Juha was actually working in this company as a coder, and he built the first e-commerce store and backend ERP systems, and he kind of did all the IT stuff there. And then they, very early phase, they started to collect customer data. So when, of course, from online store, you always collect because you have to have customer name and address where to ship the products. But then also from the physical store, they ask for email or phone number so that they could kind of know who bought what. And that was their strength. And this is one of the cornerstones in our business as well. So the company should identify the customers. And why? Of course, to be better at serving the customers, to be more relevant to the customers. On the other hand, well, somebody might say that they want to sell more. Of course, they want to sell more also, but it's also about how to be relevant, how to communicate better to the customers. So what happened then already before Kustobar was founded? Some of the salespeople, because this Juha, the co-founder, was the IT nerd there, and some of the salespeople started to come to his office that, hey, there's going to be a new album release in 2 weeks. Could you make us this segment of those customers who are interested. So pick those who have been purchasing this and this and this artist. They love also this artist, and we want to communicate that now the album is coming out. So then, okay, I'll do it. And he was doing some SQL queries and picking those contact names, and then they send the messages, and that worked like a hell. So those customers who were informed about this new release, like half of them bought it, or so the so-called conversion rate, so the purchase rate of those who bought was insanely high. Okay, that worked. And then, okay, well, you can guess what happened. So more and more those salespeople from different stores get, hey, can you also do this? And can you do this? And then he kind of got pissed off, kind of always doing these queries, SQL queries to those for different campaigns. So he started to think that there must be a better way to do this. And then he started to build this idea of some kind of tool where the salespeople, marketing people could utilize themselves and kind of pick those audiences, people that they wanted for their campaign purposes. Okay, so that's what they did, and then from there the first version of Custobar was kind of created. And we actually happened to, I was working in the same office. At that time we had a shared office, not Wonderland, before Wonderland, many years before Wonderland, we were in Kallio. We had a small office space, and we were a bunch of people there doing their own stuff. And then he showed like first like some prototype of Custobar, and when I saw it, I was, wow, I could sell that to anyone. That's so intuitive, and it kind of looks so nice. And then a few weeks later, he asked me and kind of joined, and we founded the company together. So that's how it all got started. I'll show the demo, because that wow effect that I got from that like early demo of Custobar, it's still kind of the basic elements are exactly the same, even though it's like 10 years or more than 10 years ago. So I'll show you, and you can get hopefully the same feeling that I did then. Yeah, but this is kind of like summary what we do in the end, and what is this customer data all about. You always have to first collect the data from different sources, because that's the first problem that many companies are facing, that the customer data is scattered in different systems. So it's somewhat part of the data is an e-commerce system, part of it in like physical store, POS system or ERP system. Then there's some kind of marketing tools, maybe that they have their own customer data. And then from website, they might be collecting some data with the like first-party cookies nowadays, and can be even some customer service have their own systems. So there are multiple systems, and the problem is that it's not collected and kind of unified the data. So that's the first thing what needs to be solved, and that's first thing what we solve. Nowadays, this part is very much there's a name for it. It's called CDP, comes from Customer Data Platform. So, but when we started, there wasn't any name. So and then there's in the other end is the reaching out to customers. This had a name. This was marketing automation. But then we were kind of, well, that was the closest, best term that we could have in the beginning was marketing automation. But we thought already that it's not really covering everything, because we do other stuff. We also collect the data. It's not only marketing, but we are also kind of gathering the data from different sources. So then when this term CDP came, then we knew that, okay, that's it. That's the other part. So kind of in our solution, there are like the CDP, the customer data collection, and then also the marketing part, which is on the right. And in the middle, there's the segmentation, creating these segments, dynamically updating segments, and these rules when to trigger what kind of messages to whom. So that's the kind of core in a way. And then different channels, email, SMS, push notifications. Now we are piloting WhatsApp channel, and then advertisement in different ads platforms like Meta and Google and Sanoma also in Finland. So that's the kind of entire picture of the thing. Yeah, and of course, in different important role is like ready-made integrations to different platforms. Maybe, I don't know, not so many of them are familiar logos to you, but for us in our business and for those retailers and B2C companies, it's really important they can easily get the data from their e-commerce. Those first logos here are e-commerce platforms. Then, as I mentioned, Google, Meta, customer service ticketing systems like Zendesk, and many other tools. So the kind of today's IT world is very different from what it was 10 years ago. Nowadays, everything has to kind of be kind of click and go, like very easily connectable, and utilizing modern APIs to get the data flowing both ways, both coming in the data, but also synchronizing it out from our platform. So this is really one of the core things in kind of that today's IT world. Yeah, but I'll show the demo, and unless you have any questions or comments now, but I think this kind of describes it better than anything else. And let's see how I can manage to do it here. Yes, so this is imaginary bookstore data. So, and I have to emphasize it, it's imaginary, obviously, so it's not real data. And the first thing I'm going to show you soon is we call it 360 view of individual customer. So that's in a way the kind of core of everything, collecting that data of individual customers into one place and kind of showing it and visualizing it somehow to the user, marketing person, or actually, no, well, marketing person don't use that view so much, but rather customer service people. So when that customer service person is kind of serving the customer, there's this idea behind it is that it should be like the traditional local store, like local goods store. I still remember from my childhood in my country, kind of grandparents' place in Hattula, Häme region. It was really quite far away from any services, but there was this local store. Nowadays it's closed already, but that time it was the local store for village people in that village, and she knew every customer that, of course, that came into, and she knew exactly what the person is coming to kind of pick, and kind of, because she knew everyone personally and knew what they are buying and what they would like to buy. So she was the recommendation engine and AI kind of. She was able to suggest the best suggestions to every customer because she knew them in her mind. But that's not in today's world. It's not possible anymore. There's e-commerce channel, there are physical stores, and there are multiple salespeople, so they can't possibly know every customer. So that's why we need some tools for that. And let's go to the I forgot actually. I'll jump to my direct link to this demo customer here. Now here is this imaginary customer of this bookstore. It looks like UK bookstore, UK-based bookstore. So you can see the name, basic information, addresses. You can see with green color. By the way, you can come closer to it. If you have marketing permission, that's of course important. Do we have email permission? Do we have SMS permission? Yes, we don't have, but we're actually missing phone number. I could ask it. Then we show different KPIs, numbers, like how much revenue this customer has been bringing to us, how many times, what are the top categories this customer purchases. So this is really important to understand that what is now this bookstore, especially in bookstore case and like record store case, to know what are the different categories this customer likes to buy, so that I can understand the kind of basic purchase behavior of this customer. Also, what are the top channels where this customer purchases? Like if I'm in Alexanderkatu store person, I could understand, okay, you are mainly buying from us, or you are mainly buying from online. So this seems to be international customer visiting many different cities, but this is imaginary data. So, but then also really important, and now there's so much hype we just discussed about AI. So we calculate best matching recommendation for each customer. So then what would be the best recommendation to this customer? Well, I should suggest this with the Whistler book. Hey, have you already read it? And so it's looking at every customer's purchase history and comparing it with other customers' purchase and browsing history, and then calculating the best matches based on that. So this is the starting point. But then also going down, there's the timeline. And this is a bit messy now, but extend it. So there's a timeline of all the transactions of this customer. And I go a little bit down. There's so much demo data here, and that's why it's a bit messy. But anyway, you can see what are the messages this customer has been receiving from us: emails, SMSs, WhatsApp messages, whatever. And have the customer been opening them? Then you can see changes of the data. You can see also the kind of browsing data from the website. Let's go a little bit down. There's the browse. You can see, well, customer, for example, has added something to the basket in the web store, and then Kustobar has been sending the basket reminder message automatically. Then there are those Google Ads and Facebook advertisement targeting. So we can send those that kind of segment data to advertisement, so that create different segments and then target advertisement to those. And there's also the purchase history data set here, so you can see the customer bought these books from Marseille store and those books from online store. So the entire purchase history is here, and all the other transactions as well, whether it's customer feedback or contacting the customer service or whatever. So all that data is here on this timeline. So what's the value of this? Well, of course, one value is that when the customer is contacting the customer service, let's say you're sending email or phoning, using phone or using chat, the customer service agent can immediately see what was the last touch point. So because typically, and that's what's often annoying, when we are in contact with customer service, we have to always tell the same story again. Well, I called you yesterday and there was this, that. Okay, it's always new thing to that person because they don't know. But here you can see what happened yesterday and what exactly was discussed or what the customer bought or whatever. Or then one typical case is that I got the message from you. Okay, what kind of message did you get? So here you can see what was the message that you actually got. So that's the value of it. And of course, this is also the kind of basis of all the segmentation are these transactions from each customer. Well, you might think that it's quite a lot and a lot of information. And of course, when GDPR came, have to be all GDPR compliant. So if the customer asks, hey, remove my data, you can easily do that. Or if the customer asks, show me the data that you have about me, you can easily get it as a nice report, getting all that data out. But the purpose of this is, of course, just to improve the customer service, the quality of the customer kind of contact. When the customer is contacting, then the customer service person knows what has happened and what's going on. In order to get to that idea of this local store manager who knows every customer by heart. All right, but that's about the single customer. But then jumping to the actual segmentation, the marketing part. Now we are jumping out from the individual customer, start building segments. This was the wow effect that I got when I saw the customer early demo about 10 years ago. So I can use this search bar and create segments basically. So for example, that simple example, customers from City Liverpool. Okay, it found me 4,000 customers. You can see how much marketing permissions, email, SMS, WhatsApp, whatever, I have for this segment. Well, then I can, let's take also, I would like to also have Birmingham there. So let's choose that. Now the count went up to 8,000. So it immediately updates everything. And then I can also utilize, let's say, I can drag and drop these search boxes here, bought a product. I can make a query of customers who bought something. So we have the product data here as well. So this is connecting like customers' purchases and products. Customers who bought, let's say, certain brand, certain category, certain individual product or certain time frame. But let's make a simple example. Customers who bought science fiction. All right, it found me now 22,000 already. So the count is increasing. Let's take a couple of other. I can also use the browsing data. Browse specific category. Let's say customers who browsed comics, for example. Again, it updates. And then we also calculate lifetime value. So I can add it here. And now this takes the VIP customers. So the best decile of the customers. Now I have 38,000 contacts in my segment. But then I can move these search boxes next to each other. That makes it so-called and search. So customers from City Birmingham or Liverpool and who also bought science fiction. So now both of those criteria have to match. So now the count went down because there are less people with those both criteria matching. And then there's still the exclude area here. So I can just drag and drop. I don't want these comics people into my segment. I just drag and drop it down here. So now it's excluding. Again, it updates the count to 15,000. So I can play around with all the data points and create segments. And these are always dynamic. So if somebody purchases science fiction book today, who is from Liverpool, then the count increases with 1. So it's always kind of up to date. And that's how we can also trigger messages. If we want to always communicate with these Liverpool science fiction people, then it automatically kind of can send messages to those based on that. Down here, you can see then these graphs updating also. So you can see the behavior of this segment. So these 15,000 people, how many of them are new, how many times they have been purchasing, which were the top selling stores that they are purchasing from, when was the last time they purchased, what product categories, brands, cities where they are from. So you can get good understanding of the segment that you are working with. And always when you do some changes to the segment, these figures also update. And now what we added also here, that these are actually interactive. So I can drill down, let's say, okay, I want to have a look at these Baker Street people who purchased from that store. I just click it and it adds it as a segmentation criteria here. So I can drill down into any segment, and again, it updates the graphs below. So this is the idea and the beauty of segmentation, that it makes this complicated thing, which you can do with SQL, you can do it simply with this visual kind of user interface. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the important parts. And then from here, you can just simply start building actions. So now we are moving to the marketing automation part. So you can choose, you can build newsletters, SMS campaigns, push notifications, and also this advertisement targeting towards that segment that you are working with. But as a simple example, newsletter, I can just do, or automations as well. So it can be individual single sending or then automated campaign sending automatically. So I just save it somewhere to a folder, and then I choose template. You can have multiple different visual templates like layouts, language versions, or different branded. But I have this demo template here. And then we're moving to the email, well, kind of newsletter editor. So here it's a kind of visual editor where you can drag and drop these modules. You can personalize it many ways, like you can put the hello and then utilize the customer data directly. So since we have all the customer data behind it, so you can just, let's say, this traditional classic customer's first name, paste it here, or and then of course images. So there's image bank where you can just place the images. But one nice thing is that we have the product inventories here as well. So I can simply also attach the products that I have in the campaign. I just drag and drop the products, and it takes the product images, titles, prices automatically, so that I don't need to kind of manually adjust them, because that alone can be a lot of work if you do that manually. So we have the full product inventory synchronized automatically. Or then you can use those personalized recommendations. So we have this magic product, which is placing best matching recommended product for each customer separately. So it's personalized so that everyone will get their own this best matching. I had the Whistler was for this Bessie Watson customer, so that person would probably get that recommendation here, unless she has just recently bought it. Yeah, that's the kind of action part. So the same way you can also do the other campaign types, but whether it's email or SMS or WhatsApp message or whatever. So that you build the segment, you build the kind of rules when to trigger the message, and then you just build the content and fire it out. But these are the main things in customer. Then there's of course lots of kind of analytical to understand one thing, important thing related to campaigns is that when I send it out, this is one of the core things. When I send out the campaign, you have to be able to understand how it went, how much. Well, of course, you can, like in all email tools, you can see the opens and clicks and unsubscribes. But what we can show also is the conversion. So how much sales came from it. So what I mentioned in the beginning, that this record store, when they had this targeted campaign, the conversion could be over 50%. So that's insanely high. So we show it here, and you can even see not only online sales, which is kind of easier to track, but we can also show the sales from the physical stores. Here you can see what are the top selling stores that where these people who got this message and who saw it, opened or clicked it, from which stores they made purchases. So that's connecting like online and offline, digital marketing and offline physical stores. And this is for some of our customers, is especially those who are omnichannel, who are selling physical stores, because store managers in the physical stores, they tend to think that, well, this digital marketing is kind of, they are taking out money from us and it's kind of directing the purchases to online store. But then this is a good tool for, he told this marketing manager in this one of our customers, marketing manager told that, showing this to the store managers, hey, it's not online store. Actually, online store was the fourth big kind of largest revenue coming from online store, but it was actually these physical stores that sold more. So that digital marketing also kind of influences the sales from the physical stores. So that's, and here is the online offline conversion. How much sales came from the offline, how much got from the online store. That's really important. And like also the how much, which products were sold, which were the top selling products from the campaign, what were the other products sold from the campaign. Yeah, maybe one more thing what I could, before kind of summarizing, I could show, then we have more analytical views, different types of flow. You can choose different time frames, you can choose segments which you want to kind of specifically look at. What many of our customers like a lot is this RFM matrix. So this is from kind of old invention from marketing theory, but it used to be very complicated to calculate. But now we can calculate it like automatically. So it shows you, it visualizes the customer data in two different angles. How many times customer purchased. So zero purchases, one purchase, 2, 3, and VIP customers who had purchased over 10 times from the store, any of the stores. And on horizontal axis, there's when was the last time. So the freshness bought within 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and passive over 1 year. So what I can see, if we kind of analyze this, what I can find out. For example, these two cells are really important. Customers who used to buy a lot but have not been returning anymore for 1 year. So those are really, really valuable. And I can see there's 26,000 customers in these two cells. So I should definitely do something about it. Try to reactivate them, like send some kind of "we miss you" message or whatever it is to get them back. So, and for example, some of our customers even do so that they are calling like personally to these top right corner customers that, hey, you used to be our customer, and did we miss something, or did we kind of do something wrong, or like understand what went wrong that they are not coming back. So that's really, these are really important, because they typically, when we've been analyzing these VIP, these customers who buy a lot, they might bring like even 70-80% of the revenues coming from those loyal customers. So that's why keeping all those active is really, really important. Another important cell is this first time, one-time customers who bought only once, but then passivated. In this example, it's 10% segment, or you could calculate also the second one. So then it's like 13% of almost. So this is called like the death valley of e-commerce. So customers who buy once, maybe they are triggered by a advertisement campaign, or like Google Ads or Facebook Ads campaign. They come and buy something, but they never return. So understanding the reasons why they are not returning, because then based on the research, if they purchase second time, then the likelihood that they buy also a third time and fourth time is much higher. But there's in many companies they're struggling with getting those one-time buyers back to activate them. So understanding the behavior of these is also important. But now just looking at quickly this RFM matrix, you get actually quite good understanding of the health of your customer base. So how much, of course, the target is to get as much customers here as possible. If this would be real data, I would be really worried because there's very little. It shows zero, but there must be some. There are only 46 those kind of loyal customers who have been recently purchased, but this is generated data, so it's not real case. But if it were, I would be really worried. But yeah, this kind of is so informative and so kind of easy. And then if you need to start, and when you do the activations, you can just select the cells and start building like communications to those segments directly from here. So it's actionable also. It's not only analytics, but also you can activate customers directly. But yeah, that's the kind of short summary of But of course, there's a lot of it. What you saw now is this kind of has remained the same. Of course, we've been improving the user interfaces and many things, but these elements were the original ideas also where it all started from the record store X. Yeah, do you have any questions or comments at this point?
How do you identify the like store customers?
Yeah,
online?
That's really crucial question. Well, online you always identify but then physical store, there are actually about 10 different ways to identify the customers. There's the traditional plastic card. Then there is, well, we have our own product also. We call it mobile loyalty card. So we can send it as an SMS to the mobile phone, but it's not an app. Then some companies have apps, so you can just show the app. Then some of them just ask for email or phone number. When you are paying, like maybe you have seen in Docman does that currently, that they just ask phone number when you are when you are purchasing. So that's the way to identify. So there are also more kind of better ways. The best way, of course, would be you to utilize the payment card, and that's actually what Kesko, Plussako people, card in Finland and Esko does. That when you're using that same card, with that card you can also identify the purchase. So one of our customers, Motonet, they have the driving license is the kind of so there are many ways to do it, but it's really important to do that. And actually, even to make it more concrete, we have added just recently one important view in Customer, which is shops. So you can see the we don't have now unidentified sales in this demo, but you can see the identification level in each store separately. So you can see how is Barcelona doing compared to Berlin. So well, they are all 100% now, but in reality it's usually like 50% or 60% or 70%. So you can really manage and try to improve that identification level when you see the actual numbers, how much of the customers you identify. But that's really crucial question. And unfortunately, not all retailers and brands understand the true kind of importance of that identification. But that's because if you don't identify, then you don't know is it a returning customer, is it a new customer? So it's kind of blurs the entire data if you don't identify the customers. Of course, the consumer asks that, okay, why do I do that? So then you have to also bring the motivation. What is figure out the motivation? Why do you do that? It could be just that we can communicate better to you, but that might not be enough. Then, of course, some have like points or kind of cashback. So there are many ways to motivate also. What would be the reason for the consumer to identify?
Yes, and also tell them about how you use their data.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Exactly, that's important. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that Levy compacts actually they have like probably still have like this collecting stamps.
That's right.
And during those days, I think that many companies who did that. If you buy 10 records, the last one will be free.
Yes.
But for them, it have to be that they collected also that was the way to that you are identifying also
exactly.
the offline.
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays they have it like digital stamps.
Yeah.
So they still have it, but it's in digital form. So then you have to identify in order to get that stamp into your data.
And what role does GDPR play in your restrictions, and also what does it bring?
Well, it was a big thing when it came, and we had to build these fun features related to that. But nowadays, I think it clarified a lot, like the basic rules, what can be done and what can't be done. But for example, one in addition to those that I mentioned already, one thing what it brought is that there has to be some kind of deadline to store the data. Like maybe some of you know, saw just recently, Verkkokauppa.com had problems with that, with the authorities, that they hadn't clearly stated when they are deleting the customer data. so then they thought that they can keep it forever. But now in GDPR, there's a rule that you have to kind of delete it at some point. So if the customer is passive, so there's no reason to keep it forever. But it varies a lot. We have some companies, for example, who sell like really high-end beds, like furniture, and you don't purchase a bed so often, maybe every 10 or 30 years. So then in their case, there is really the need for maintaining the customer data for decades, because in order to know what bed you bought last time and how to improve it like next time, so then they are really maintaining for a long time.
Well, part of the thing also, like, I was wondering how is that GDPR, the data that you collect, because if a person can say, hey, I don't want you to keep my stuff, or they can download their report, but then the thing is, if you can provide the information, then I'd be like, oh, I would like to become more self-aware of, like,
yes,
as like empowering them as a tool. So sort of like that could also be even as a additional kind of, I don't know, some kind of in other way to leverage that information in, to not just say, hey, here's how we're keeping track of you, but saying like, what can you learn about yourself?
Oh,
what
yeah,
are the other things
right.
that might make a difference
Yeah,
to you?
right.
So could it even be like a I don't know, like idea of like consultative moment with that person's data, and say like, hey, we noticed you like these things, but like, what are the other areas that are like, why do you buy this stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
And then sort of getting into the why.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
and that can be like
some of our customers have in their e-commerce or website that like a my page or my view, so you can see what you have purchased before, and based on that they build maybe recommended, like we have this recommendation engine building recommendations that you might be interested also these. But then also having the, maybe depending on the product category, but if you have warranty, for example, then you can get the those warranty details in that own view that, hey, my electronics, well, whatever, radio was broken, then I can get the receipt and kind of maybe get it replaced without cost or whatever. So yeah, there are many different usages of how the consumer could also utilize it.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Well, where are you trying to get to with your user interface sort of flow? Because I see things that could maybe make differences, but I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is a kind of challenging business in a way, because this product is quite wide. There's lots of different feature sets and different use cases. So there's marketing, there's customer service, there's sales people. So then what are the areas we want to emphasize and develop? It's kind of, but the core data, the kind of what we see, how we see our business is that the improving the quality of the data, and the kind of, we are the master source of the data, and that it's easily available to other systems as well. So this kind of flowing the data in and out easily, those are maybe the core competencies and kind of capabilities of the tool. Yeah, but that's, I guess, of course there would be a lot of other stories to tell, but it's really fascinating because this is so concrete, and kind of consumer businesses are like what my co-founder Juha used to say, that the consumer businesses are so nice, because if you do something in e-commerce or if you do something with marketing, you can immediately see the result. Did it work or not? so you can see the campaign kind of performance and how much revenue you actually gain. One of the record store acts I was discussing with one of their salespersons, because they have a rule that salespersons in the store also use Custopar and send targeted messages. So she said she's from the Kuopio store, and she said it's nice that in the evening when she closes the store and then sends out a Custopar message like to specific audience or about specific, let's say, artist. And then when she comes next day in the morning to the office and kind of opens the laptop, she can check how much sales she did during the evening and night. So because when you're sending out a message, immediately customers come and buy. Those who are really fans of that artist, they really do it usually quite quickly if they have money in their account. And there are actually that kind of behavior also, that some kind of keep them in the shopping basket until the salary day, and then they make the big purchase when the salary comes. So those are really like enthusiastic fans of certain artists. But anyway, when she comes back to the office next or the store next day, she can check that how much revenue came last evening, and so it's really motivating for the salesperson also. It's not only waiting for customers to come to the store, but they can also do sales with this without kind of, because they know the customers, they know the products well, so then targeting customers utilizing this is really motivating for them as well. Yeah.
So then what's your target market in terms of who are you mainly?
Yeah, about
What
60% of our customers are e-commerce retail companies. So I had actually in the beginning.
Yeah, I missed that because I got stuck with
Yeah, no worries.
that was the construction.
But then we do have some other. So it's all B2C businesses, B2C, so not in B2B. But then so retail e-commerce is the biggest segment, but also a lot of restaurant chains, and market, like geographic market is Nordics, Baltics, and Central Europe, German-speaking countries, and Benelux at the moment. We do have some customers outside this, but these are our like focus geographies at the moment.
Okay, what's the smallest kind of company that would use this?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do have very
Like there's no
small,
SME.
Yeah, we do have some very small ones. I can't, but it can be like below 1 million euro revenue, even like, so very small stores.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, typical customers like mid-size retailer, maybe 10 million to 50 million revenue, something like that. But then also, especially in Finland, we have these bigger ones. But the mid-size retail e-commerce is our like sweet spot market.
Why would this and would it not be, even if you made like a light version or a reduced version? How would, kind of a question of like why and why not would it be worthwhile doing it?
Yeah.
Not because of like, well, if you don't have fund or interest, but sort of from that point of the actual business owner, if they're in that small to medium, more on the solopreneur style to kind of like, I don't know, 30, 40 employees, why would it not be useful, or actually why would it be?
Well, why not is there's basically two reasons. The other one is that those very small companies tend to have lots of things on their plate, and this requires some time and some thinking to whom I would activate what kind of campaign. So it's not that it takes some time. And the other reason is that it also requires some thinking. So people tend to be so busy with everything that they don't have any time to think about targeting. And this is a little bit mindset question also, that some small companies, they are so much keen on kind of just serving individual customers in the store. They don't kind of have the mindset of kind of targeting and thinking about audiences, etc. But then, so those are maybe the biggest burdens for the small companies. But if you are really kind of data minded, or that kind of like your mind orientation is like that, then it works even like solo entrepreneurs if you like.
Well, that's kind of like where does just maybe the very simple sort of CRMs work for those individuals, but at what level does this start to become an issue that such would say, hey, maybe it would be worthwhile graduating to having a system like this, even a light version, and
that's right. I think usually you should have at least 10,000 contacts in your database. So that's the starting point. And so you should, what if I would start a new business, I would first collect the data and use like some almost free tools like MailChimp just to send regular newsletters. And then when I have collected enough data, like the 10,000 or so, so then I would switch to this kind of Kustova type of tool to target and segment customers better and create automations. All right, maybe we'll close.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you, and you as well. It was fruitful and nice questions and conversation. We can continue the conversation while doing the waffles. The irons are on. Just make yourself comfortable while being a master chef.
Irons are warm.
Yeah.